we are back. So this is Jamarl Thomas talking about a delusional hypocrite AOC lies to clinically deranged Joy Reid to smear Tulsi Gabbard. So Jamarl Thomas is a leftist. He's a pretty far leftist. I would not call him a liberal at all. And so he's another good one to follow. Like I said, Savvy Sabs and Devori Darkins. Jamal Thomas is another good one. And so let's see what he has to say.
I would like to show you a tale of two people. Two people in regards to strength or weakness in this case. Two people in regards to standing up for a particular principle versus phoning it in on Twitter. I'm greatly annoyed by something that I just came across because it is utterly astonishing that people who haven't the courage of their convictions, who've become parodies of themselves, can speak out of turn and attack and smear somebody representing their party because they don't particularly like this person and use this thing of, oh, they're a Russian asset, they're a Putin puppet, they're a Assad puppet, or whatever they want to use as they're castigating this particular person. But it's one particular refrain that this particular person was using that has set me off. Before I even get into it, I want to, no, let me show you this first. This is AOC. AOC came out on MSNBC, a basket case of a network at this point, with people who are losing their mind and need literal psychological help, like Joy Ann Reid. And she is sitting there with that person who really deeply and truly requires psychological help, deranged Joy Ann Reid. And AOC tells Joy Ann Reid that Tulsi Gabbard is a threat to national security, but more to the point, is pro war. That Tulsi Gabbard is pro war. Said, don't trust them because Tulsi Gabbard is pro war. Like, the level of hypocrisy is overwhelming. AOC supported Joe Biden, who is right now trying to push this country to the brink of thermonuclear war. Let's put that in context. And she's sitting here saying that somebody else who's been trying to stop that war, who's been consistent on one war after the next, especially these regime change wars that the United States gets involved in, she's been consistent.
Right. So Joe Biden is supplying weapons to Israel, letting them just bombard whoever they want to bombard, right? But then Tulsi Gabbard has gone and talked to Assad, and I don't know if she's talked to Putin or not, but you have to talk to these people. Like if instead of giving uh, weapons to Israel, Joe Biden went and talked to leaders of Palestine or even leaders of Hamas, and what do you guys want? What are we gonna do? Make a deal. Make a deal. That's how you stop a war. You're not gonna stop a war just by fighting and fighting and fighting. It never stops until you just pull out of Afghanistan and they say that's the wrong way to do it. Or what war have we ever won? Like, I guess we won World War II. That's the last war we ever really won. Like, war is just nonsense. But anyway.
AOC has been nowhere to be found. And I would wager that that twit knows nothing about what takes place off the shores of this country, or for that matter, how much we invest into pushing American policy, even when it means overthrowing governments. And Tulsi was taking slings and arrows from all sorts of people in the orthodoxy that loves that war or loves those wars. And AOC will sit here on a basket case of a network talking to deranged Joy Ann Reid and with a level of radical hypocrisy say,
See, nobody on the left
Tulsi
thinks the
Gabbard,
liberals are sane.
the one who's being hit for being anti war in this case. And it's not that Tulsi is anti war, Tulsi is a Zionist through and through, but so are all of them for all intents and purposes. And yeah, she has this idea that there's a fight for supremacy against radical Islam. But when you're looking for consistency on message, when you're looking at somebody who's been willing to take a hit in order to continuously push that message that we are engaged in regime change wars. It doesn't help us. It needs to stop. I was a soldier. I was there. I could see it for myself. We need to stop this. She has taken the hit over and over again and has retained her shape. You, on the other hand, are a parody of yourself. You got into this saying we need to primary some folks. We need to get some of these people out here so we can get our policies through. And over time became Mama Bear, or Baby Bear to Mama Bear, Nancy Pelosi, and became a good little soldier, attacking people like Jill Stein, third parties, or for the matter, voters. And now you're hitting Gabbard. Now you're hitting Gabbard. And I would put forth you don't have a leg to stand on, especially considering the people in your own party that has A, been committing a genocide, and B, is pushing us to the brink of war. There's a reason why the majority of the American public, A, chose, chose Donald Trump and chose him winning the popular vote. But when you dig into the details of election outvotes, basically exit polling, and you ask those people, hey, who did you trust more on foreign policy? As much of a wild card as Donald Trump is, they trusted him more on foreign policy. And what was the foreign policy that Donald Trump espoused? We need to stop having these wars. They don't do anything for us. And who has lumped into that also because she been consistent on that front? Tulsi Gabbard. Kamala Harris would have been just as bad on foreign policy, just as spineless as Joe Biden.
Exactly.
Tulsi has been willing to take the hit and remain who she is on these various issues to which she invests herself in regards to we need to stop these regime change wars, one of which being Ukraine. I would wager to you that AOC knows nothing about this, and yet she would stick her neck out, being a good little soldier for the Democratic Party, a bankrupt, losing party, in order to hit Tulsi. Just outrageous. I'm going to play this clip. This
Let's
is
see what
her
clip he's gonna play.
calling herself, putting a knife in Tulsi Gabbard, because Tulsi Gabbard has just been um, Donald Trump's pick for DNI director.
To Tulsi Gabbard potentially having access to national security information. And Russia loves it, loves her.
And I actually think almost more than Matt Gaetz, Tulsi Gabbard's appointment is devastating. And Tulsi Gabbard's nomination, as much as she says that she's an anti-war person, she's not.
Yeah.
She supports very pro-war individuals,
including
abroad.
In Syria.
And let's be very clear, a Tulsi Gabbard nomination is a pro-war nomination.
You're a dumbass. You're an outright dumbass. And you're a weak dumbass at that.
Tell me how you really
you know
feel.
Nothing of what you are talking about. You are effectively taking the position of the terrorists who were trying to overthrow that government, getting 500,000 people in that country killed. Obama did that as a regime change war because he wanted to get rid of Bashar al-Assad. Now you probably don't know that. And because you don't know that, and the only thing you hear is mainstream media and the other people in your bubble, or for that matter, cult, you will come out and attack her for this. Something, by the way, that she was doing that was right. The notion that you are okay with getting all of these people killed in order to overthrow another government is outrageous. And her saying so got her hit by mainstream media and, for that matter, members of her own party, because the person who was at the head of that party as they were doing the regime change war in Syria was Barack Obama, or for that matter, Hillary Clinton as the Secretary of State. I want to show you a picture of weakness. I've been looking for this clip for a while. And what I mean by a picture of weakness, you have a point of view, that point of view gets tested, and your response after it gets tested. And I want to show you AOC. When AOC was asked about the occupation in Gaza, she wilts like a flower.
Ayo,
Literally
Pelosi.
caves in on herself. It even takes her a moment to figure out, what are my lines? I don't know my lines. I don't know much about this. I don't know my lines. It's the saddest thing you would ever see, because at the end of the day, when somebody needed to stand up and say, yes, it's an occupation, I said exactly what I meant. And if you would have seen her before she got into politics, I would wager to you she would have had no issue saying, this is an occupation. They are treating these people miserably as they steal and expropriate more land. God damn it, I'm going to stand by it.
She has changed quite
That's what I said,
significantly.
an occupation. Well, you can't get that out of her. Listen to her firing line. Listen to the question when the woman rebuffs what AOC is saying and asks her to clarify.
Yes, but I also think that what people are starting to see, at least in the occupation of Palestine, is just an increasing crisis of humanitarian condition. And that to me is just where I tend to come from on this issue.
You use the term the occupation of Palestine. What did you mean by that?
I think
I need my
It's
lines.
occupied.
I need my lines. I can't remember my lines.
Right, it's occupied. That's what I meant.
Oh, I said occupation. She doesn't like that I said occupation. What do I say now? What do I say? I don't know what I'm supposed to say, because I know dick about anything beyond these shores. Let's hear what she comes up with.
what I meant is like the settlements that are increasing in some of these areas,
The concentration
and
camps.
places where Palestinians are experiencing difficulty in access to their housing and
Life.
homes.
Do you think you can
Life in
expand on that?
general.
Yeah, I mean, I think I'd also just I am not the expert on geopolitics on this issue. You know,
Well,
No,
study
you're
up
not.
on it.
You're not. You're not. And you're not even an ally on this issue. You
It's not even
withered
hard.
like a
Genocide
shriveling
bad.
penis in a cold wind. Just Tulsi would have answered that if she would have believed that. That's the difference. And to make my point, this is Tulsi on CNN when she took a trip to Syria that mainstream media hated her for, that the Obama administration hated her for. She went with Dennis Kucinich and she went to see for herself what was taking place.
What is
on the
going
ground.
down, right? What's wrong with
Yes.
seeing for yourself? That's how everyone should
It's
do
how
it
you
if you
handle
can, at least.
these situations, not like AOC. And the point I'm trying to make here is AOC is sitting there attacking Tulsi Gabbard and doesn't know what the hell she's talking about.
Ooh.
At the end of the day, when you are looking for somebody who's been rather consistent on this notion of we need to stop these wars, it's been Tulsi Gabbard. The one time that I saw AOC say anything about war, and at this point her party is the pro-war party, they derided J.D.
I
Vance
think
and
both
Donald
parties
Trump
are pretty
for even having the
pro-war.
temerity to talk about ending a war, or for that matter, sitting down with Kim Jong-un in order to get him to stop firing missiles in the Sea of Japan. They derided them for being
Right,
willing
you gotta talk
make
to people.
peace, as opposed to having these endless wars. She had nothing to say about that. Zero to say about that. Short of, we got to elect Kamala Harris. We got to elect Kamala Harris, or we got to collect Joe Biden. It's outrageous. Tulsi Gabbard should sue the hell out of both of them for saying this nonsense. You saw AOC fall apart. This is Tulsi when confronting somebody who doesn't like her for taking this trip and is going against mainstream orthodoxy on issues of war and peace.
But they expressed a question. They said, why is it that the United States, its allies and other countries are providing support, are providing arms to terrorist groups like al-Nusra, al-Qaeda, Arar al-Sham, ISIS, who are on the ground there raping, kidnapping, torturing, and killing the Syrian people, children, men, women, people of all ages. They asked me, why is the United States and its allies supporting these terrorist groups who are destroying Syria when it was al-Qaeda who attacked the United States on 9/11, not Syria? I didn't have an answer for them.
Obviously, the United States government denies providing any sort of help to the terrorist groups that you're talking about. They say they provide help for the rebel groups. Tell us more about.
Did you hear what he said? Well, the government says it's not doing that. It's not providing help to terrorist groups. It's providing help to the rebel groups. The rebel groups are the terrorist
I didn't do it.
Jake may or may not know that. But they were the terrorist groups. They
Bin
were
Laden's
changing
parents
the
were at the
name
White
of
House
these
or
people,
something like
but for
that
all
the
intents
day
and purposes,
on
it was the
9/11.
same motley crew of terrorists. In fact, when Donald Trump got into office, Trump killed the program. Behind the sudden death of a $1 billion secret CIA warrant.
Okay, so I'm gonna cut this video here. So what I want you guys to do, if you're following my channel, go check out Jamarl Thomas's channel. You see how he spells his name, morning show, this and that. I'm gonna try to show all the different channels that I watch. So if you like the people that I'm showing, go watch their channels and follow them and follow me, because I'm gonna try to jump around and find I watch all kinds of different crazy stuff. So I'm gonna try to get y'all hip, and I'm gonna do some history stuff too. So on this Thanksgiving, have a happy gobble gobble.